I actually don't really say anymore that I teach yoga. So I do teach elements of yoga, and it's, I would say, the main inspiration, or one of the main inspirations for what I teach, because it's full of wisdom, full of ancient wisdom that's been practiced and passed on through cultures and traditions for such a long time. It's such a rich practice. And then yoga, it's everywhere now, and there's pictures of certain kinds of bodies looking a very specific way doing yoga postures, and it gives you, I think it gives the idea that that's yoga and that's how it should look, and it strips back the essence of the practice, which is a practice of awareness and body awareness and the felt experience. So improvisation helps me to open up a space to do a bit more actual connecting. And it's hard, like when you first say to people, you use some imagery or you give a little bit of information and then leave it open, or a small guide rather than put this foot here and that arm there, they kind of, there's a lot of resistance in the beginning. It's like, oh, I just have to move. I see often also in what I would call the wellness industry, there are lots of really meaningful, well-intended things that get over-repeated. I've been in so many classes, inhale, let, exhale, go. There's value in that work, but it's lost when it's taken away from this human experience. It's not just a practice that you do on your yoga mat, it's like an everyday thing. Normally there's a lot of resistance to the process of letting go because we're really used to everything we know. The first thing is to realize what it is, and the second thing is to try to let it go, and then you realize it's really hard. I'm really attached to this, even though I know it's not good for me. I can't let it go. For me, a really nice analogy is like a trapeze artist, you know, these circus artists that they swing on bars and they have a really big gap. The more professional they are, the bigger the gap, and they're swinging, and at one point they have to let go of both the trapeze where they started, and they're not holding yet onto the one that's in front of them. And there's this kind of absolutely necessary trust that's needed to be able to just free fall for a moment, to let go of that thing in the past or in the present and make space for the unknown next grip, the next hold, the next thing that's going to move in. And I think if you can have some trust to let go of both and free fall for a minute, and that's going to be, well, unknown, but maybe better than what I was holding on to before. With the global pandemic, I have to admit I was a technophobe. I'm very happy with that identity. I thought it was somehow saving me. And I think quickly I had to let go of that identity and put that down and say, all right, I'm going to learn how to use Zoom. I'm going to work out where to best place my camera. I'm going to get my hands on a good enough microphone. And this first class was really wild. It was all just like, do your best. And people came, and afterwards there was such a nice collective feedback. We sat with each other for a moment afterwards and people shared, because it was new for us all. Most of the people really felt kind of held and collected and thought, okay, at least there's this to come back to. And there was a lot of kind of crossovers of similar experiences, and it's not that things suddenly become unstable, it's that we suddenly are able to see much more clearly the instability of what we have and how delicate it is, and people became very vulnerable, and there were lots of worrying things about that and concerning things about that. So what I wish for with this work, and it's become way more obvious through the last 18 months or so, is that we get more emotional resilience and a better relationship with our bodies, to know that a lot of what we feel is processed through the nervous system and through our ability to regulate that and ability to see what's shifting, because it's happening all the time anyway. So just tapping into that and using it. I'm Grace, and I'm an embodiment coach, a movement facilitator, and an awareness practitioner. I'm also a twin and a very doting daughter, and I really love peanut butter.